the Halal Center. Dr. Vinay was the founder of the Halal Science Center in Thailand, whereas the late Professor Dato Dr. Yaakob Chekman was the founder of the Halal Product Research Institute in Malaysia. Allah loves Professor Dr. Yaakob Chekman more than us now. And he passed away in 2012. But his legacy is still alive until today. With that, I'm grateful and joyful to invite Associate Professor Dr. Vinay Dahalan to give his keynote and share with us some of his memories with the late arwah Professor Dato Dr. Yaakob Chekman. Please, Dr. Vinay, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala arafil anbiya wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I gave many hundred lectures, but I think that today's lecture should be a very important one. I would like, as a dream, to find a day to give a memorial lecture for my close friend, Prof. Yaakob. Until I know that who will be the chairperson of my session today, Prof. Shuhaimi. Then I name my topic. As you may see, my topic, the second generation of future halal science innovation. I think this is very important. This is very important. Prof. Yaakob, he's number one. He's number one in Malaysia. He created and found the halal science technology there, as well as the institute. But if we know about the psychological fact, if we have number one, without number two, you cannot find other number. This is very important. And it had been done as a research several times. I still remember in a TED Talk. In one TED Talk, they start from the number one, dance on the beach. Dance on the beach. For an hour, nobody follow that guy to dance. Nobody. Until finally, he put another one as the number two. Dance follow the number one. And then after that, there's more than 100 follow. And the researcher said, what is the most important? The most important is number two. I think the second generation of halal scientists, very important. If not so, then we cannot initiate and we cannot make a progress on halal science. I will give you my personal experiences here. My topic is about Dato Prof. Dr. Yaakob Chekman Memorial Lecture, the second generation of future halal science and innovation. And several people asked me about the algorithm in the Halal Science Center in Bangkok. Now, every work we have done, we use the concept of algorithm. It's like that we construct a house. We have to start with the architect. We have to drive it first. The city, everything that we would like to construct, start from the architecture, as well as science technology, nothing different. Yesterday, our former Prime Minister gave an excellent lecture. I think if you have an opportunity to attend, some people told me that that is one of the excellent lecture on halal that they never heard about. This is the potential of halal economy. I will give you. And many people recognize halal economy covering from food, non-food products to services. In MTGT, Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, Group Triangle, we have the group called Halal Product and Services, abbreviation as HAPAS. Yeah. Then there's also monetary system. Many people call it Islamic bank. Some country call Halal bank. Also halal concept. Then in very near future, for the second generation like Prof. Shuhaimi, they, even in their laboratory, have to discuss about the IT application, online service. And then we're going to discuss about the online journal. You see? And Mr. Abhisit Vechachiva, former Prime Minister, said yesterday, then the value of halal economy is 4 trillion. 4 trillion. Half our monetary system like Islamic bank, sukuk, and takaful, and so on. But other half is product and services. Divide again to food and agricultural products for $1 trillion. And other non-food and services also $1 trillion. It's huge. But how it grow to that level? We have to see. Total global economic output is 85 trillion with food agriculture accounted for 7%. For the total food and agricultural product, only 7%. Only 7%. But how about Muslim? Halal food and agriculture for Muslim is 17%. Muslim contribute 24% of the world population, but we contribute only 17% for food consumption. We eat less. Why? Indonesian people, one man of Indonesian people eat $1 a day. One American eat the same, but $12 a day. This is the differences. That's why developed country finally they earn more and also spend more for their consumption. This is very important. We have to consider also. But anyway, even the 17% is still very high to $1.02 trillion. This is from the figure from Global Trade Atlas. For halal, if we think about the market economy and we consider only Muslim, then it's $1 trillion. But halal not for Muslim. Halal is for every people. Halal is for all. Thailand is a very good example. Thailand produce more than 200,000 brand of halal products. More than 200,000. Almost of them available in non-Muslim market, not Muslim. You can find halal product, halal with the certification in non-Muslim communities in Thailand. This is the trend of not only Thailand but also for all. You see, Thailand food product distributed in both market of Muslim and non-Muslim. Then don't look at the 17% at the top of the iceberg. This is a halal market for Muslim. But look at the bottom, 72% are non-Muslim. Why 72%? Because if we look at the total food products and agricultural products, 89% are non-pork and non-alcoholic. This is something like a Muslim friendly. And the trend of the market is go to the quality of the product. The quality is maybe it's green, maybe it's organic. Why not halal? Then we have to make the halal accreditation attract enough for non-Muslim. The competitor of Thai halal certified product is not Malaysian halal certified product or Indonesian or any other country. Our real competitor is non-halal certified product, the equivalent without halal certification. Then we have to change our perception and try to expand. But how to attract the market of non-Muslim? How we can attract? We have the good example. Maybe we here, not many people know about the case of Argentina. They import meat, cow meat from England, and they request halal slaughter meat. Why? Because they're scared of mad cow disease. They're scared of mad cow disease, and they know that the mad cow disease is from the feed that they distributed in Europe market. The feed for animal they produce from the carcass of other animals, something like a sheep. Sheep with the scabby in the brain, the disease of in the brain. Finally, is can infected to the cow, cause the cow to be a mad cow, and finally it can be infected to the human being. In England, the beginning of this year, there was a good news, something strange. It's about the availability of cow beef in non-Muslim market, in non-Muslim city in England. Why? They need halal beef in some part, and finally become the news in the newspaper, because they would like to have something that they call grass-fed meat. They know that for halal beef, usually they use grass-fed cow, not the pellet-fed cow. You see? Then for the pellet feeding, finally they scare of something like a scabby or scared of the mad cow disease and so on. They need grass-fed. But rather difficult if we find grass-fed meat in England. It's cheaper to find halal. Halal is cheaper compared to grass-fed. And this is something like a strange trend that I think the question that how can we attract non-Muslim to the halal market? Then we have to compare the quality of the halal product, halal food, with the equivalent non-halal certified product. This is a challenge for us. This is the case, the real case happened in Indonesia 2001, the 3rd of January 2001, about the, we know that about the case of Ajinomoto. Also in the year 2009, the same case, the same ingredient happened again in Pakistan. Again in Pakistan. It's about the E631. E631. Some people scare that it should, some ingredient, or even the trace of some ingredient may be adulterated by haram. Rather difficult to fatwa. I can say that the Islamic organization there, the fatwa committee in Indonesia, scare to fatwa this case. I will explain you how. The chemical they use, the chemicals, this is E631, derived from cassava, tapioca, halal. This is from plant. How? They use a bacterial fermentation. Halal, yes. Bacterial fermentation is halal. But they grow bacteria first before use this bacteria for this fermentation by this growth in culture media. Culture media have the protein hydrolysis from soybean. Halal, yes. But finally they found that to hydrolyze this protein, they use pancreatic enzyme from pig. From pig. Halal? We don't know. I'm not the ulama. We don't know. But if we ask the ulama, confused. Confused. Why? Because this is in Canada. And this is in United States. Some part in Australia. How about the distance? They go. And you cannot trace any enzyme, any adulteration here in culture media. You cannot find. By using the lab of Prof. Shuhaimi, no. It's not possible to find. You see, there is no trace of adulteration. But the consumer in Indonesia and in Pakistan not accept. Then sometimes when we discuss about the halal, it's beyond. This is very important. This is the modern world. Not many people try to accept if there's some haram involved. This is very important. I think then we live in this kind of world. Then rather difficult. Then finally, this is the charm of the halal accreditation. Then we have to separate halal certified product and halal product. They're different. If some people ask me whether can we eat this, I say yes, can you approve and certify it? I said, no. Different. If you have enough knowledge, then I said, this is mubah for me. Can you certify that? In order to have other people to consume, I said, no. We cannot. And how? Then we have to get rid of this. This is very important. And then this is the way that we have to use it as for the attraction for non-Muslim. This is above the standard, something like a GMP, HACCP. This is very important. I think this issue very important. Then this is when we said this is the significance of the halal certified product, not halal product. This is very important. And then this kind of fact finally can attract non-Muslim consumer. How many chemicals like this? 186. Brother, sister, you consume pig every day, but you don't know. Fala isma alay. If you don't know, you have no sin. You don't know. But as a scientist, we have to make proof. This is very important. You see, and this is a fardu kifaya. If you are scientists, this is fardu kifaya for you all. Fas'alu ala zikli in kuntum la ta'lamun. If you don't know, ask the one who know. And it's a responsibility for Muslim society have to produce the knower. And this is my amana and the amana of Prof. Shuhaimi to produce scientists who know both Sharia and science. You see? Okay, this is a halal science tech. This is a key factor for halal economic growth. Without science and technology, without anything that tangible, we cannot make the economy move. If we say this is about the belief, but without any tangible fact or without any proof, then rather difficult in order to attract non-Muslim who don't have any belief. You see, but how? This is the role of science and technology a lot. You see, from the beginning to the end, until to the hand of the consumer. And then, I think this is the fact. And we have to memorize to Prof. Yaakob. She meant he is a friend. He a friend. I think he had done a lot in order to wake up science and technology in Islam. 1,000 years ago, we are the leader. We are the leader. Where are we now? Where are we now? You see, if we consider from Nobel Prize laureate, 80,000 of Jew people, 80,000 Jew people produce one Nobel laureate. 25 million of other, apart from Islam or from Muslim, produce one Nobel laureate. But 225 million of Muslim produce one. We lack of science and technology. We lack. It's loose. In Islam, tafakkur, anything we have to work, we have to think, rethink. But now, we just follow. This is the fact that finally we have to think about some people that finally try to work for us in order to wake up Islamic science and technology. He's the one. He's the one. Prof. Yaakob, this is Halal scientist die. This is the newspaper 7 years ago. On July 15, he died young. Good man die young. I'm older than him. Then I'm not good enough. He produced 1 hour system to detect porcine DNA. He had 8 children. You see, many Malaysian prof, my good friend, maybe over there, he asked me, Vinay, how many kids you have? I said 1. I shame you. And I asked him, how many? At that time, he said 8. You ask him now, 13. Prof. Chari is mine. He is smiling there. I met him 20 years ago. I met him. We are friends until now. I know Prof. Yaakob later, but he's also one of great scientists in Malaysia. He graduated bachelor and master degree in Tennessee, PhD in Illinois. Father of 8 children passed away on July 7 years ago. I got the news during my travel from Malang to Surabaya. At that time, my friend from Penang wrote to me via line that Prof. Yaakob passed away that day. And I never forget. Then before that, 1 or 2 months before that, I heard about his sickness and tried to visit him. But it's too late. It's too late. Busy all the time. Finally, I think that I have to visit his kubur. And this is, I went with Prof. Shuhaimi. August 23rd, this year, 7 years after he passed away. This is at the Tanah Perkuburan Islam Sungai Merap, Bangi. Only visit his kubur, his grave. Is then I told to Prof. Shuhaimi, this year of Thailand Halal Assembly, I will have a memorial lecture for him. Yeah. Thank you. I think we have, don't forget the man like this. If you would like to wake up science and technology for Islam, for the next generation of Muslim, we must have contribution in making this world better by developing science and technology. Myself, I established the Halal Science Laboratory in 1995. 1995, under Faculty of Allied Health Science,ฬาลงกรณ์ University. And year 2003, 8 years later, only 1 lab. I danced alone on the beach. You remember? I danced alone. Nobody followed. This is very difficult. Then finally, the cabinet resolution on 13th of August in the year 2003 promote the Halal laboratory inฬาลงกรณ์ University to be the Halal Science Center that year. And we think we have to find counterpart. I met my friend, my close friend, other friend of mine, Nick is my Nick Daud. He is a professor in UKM. I said, hey, we need halal laboratory in Malaysia, in Indonesia, in many countries. And he told me he know the right person is Prof. Yaakob. Then he introduced Prof. Yaakob to me 2 years before that. And finally I met him and we discussed that we better have halal laboratory in Malaysia. We discussed. And in the year 2005, finally, we have the MOU between 3 universities, IUPM from Malaysia, from Prof. Yaakob, IPM, IPB, not IPM, IPB, in Bogor of Indonesia. And finally, we formed the network. And in November, this is endorsed by Indonesia, Malaysia ministerial meeting. Finally, it become the official halal laboratory network for Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand Growth Triangle. That the cradle of halal science technology. This is very important. This is the history background of the halal science technology. And the year after is reconstruct of MTGT with initiation of halal products visit working group HAPAS. And I discussed with Mr. Firdau Dahlan from MTGT that we better give a support to the science technology. It's difficult to establish without any budget. Very difficult. We need very important P. P is patronate. The government have to patron the existence of science technology in the country. And the best way for science technology is in university. And then we have to give a good support for university. Here, Prof. Yaakob in the middle. You see, this is Prof. Anas Fauzi, also my friend, from IPB, Indonesia, Bogor. And we formed together Halal Science and Technology Laboratory Network. Yeah, in the year 2005. This is signed MOU atฬาลงกรณ์ University. Yeah, Professor Anas here. This is a representative from Ministry of Agriculture of Indonesia. And Prof. Yaakob came. Very important this moment because he came and with MOU, finally he can convince the university first. The second is the government of Malaysia. The government of Malaysia. Then 1 or 2 months after that, I went to KL and he told me a good news that finally the government grant him big budget. Finally, he could establish the laboratory of Prof. Shuhaimi there. This is very important. How can we discuss with the politician in the government as the scientist? I think he has charisma. Very important. This is very important. And then I would give credit to him for the establishment of the halal science technology there in Malaysia. He's the father of the halal science in Malaysia. And after that, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 2 come after. Now I think there are more than 20 halal science laboratories in Malaysia. And in Indonesia, Prof. Anas initiate more than 50 of halal science technology in Indonesia. I said this is very important. Then I will give something about the algorithm. Prof. Pakon Priyakon said yesterday, algorithmic come from Islamic world 1,000 years ago, from the man 1,200 years ago, from a man called Al-Khwarizmi. Western world not give him credit, but we have to give. You know, during the entering of Apollo 13 from the space, he lose in the space, and finally can come back without any power, electrical power, all finished. Finally, they have to calculate by manually by hand, by slide rule. They use the principle of algorithmic in order to be able to come back. Nobody give him the credit. You see, algorithmic algorithm developed in the 19th century. This is the 19th century. When we mention in the Western world, they said that this is developed in the 200 years ago. But actually it's developed in 9,000 years before that in Baghdad. In Baghdad. Yeah. And this is a process or decision tree to be followed in problem solving operation. If we have to work, the most important is about the information. We must have the appropriate information for making the decision. This is very important as scientists. And then we design algorithm. But we must have raw material to design. The first standard. Dr. Pakon, then very important. He set up the standard. Then we wait for standard. The first is standard. Then a practical algorithm design. Optimize the appropriate laboratory procedure for halal authentication. This is very important. Try to make the algorithm. This is the first generation of scientists. How? If you would like to have the halal certified product, start from here. Here, have a standard, then implement the standard and produce the product. And during this process, we have to verify whether the ingredient we use in the production line halal. This is very important. Now, how? We check. If finally it's a naturally halal, then go for halal certification and collect the data in big data house. If no, then go to the literature review or interrogation. Not directly to the lab. It's too expensive. Try to use the cheaper one first. Then we have literature review and also interrogation. If yes, go to the big data house. If this interrogation, yes, go there. If not, then we go to the lab. If there is no other means to prove, then we go to the lab. Then we optimize the lab. They prepare 4 lab here. DNA, lipid, protein, etc. I will show you later. And we cannot say this is halal, but we can say free of haram. Halal, we don't know. But haram free. Then if free of haram, then discuss with the ulama, had a halal certification, go there. If no, then go to other way. You have to find alternative for haram. You see, we have to find alternative. Then this is halal forensic science laboratory. And for the factory, we need the standardization. Here, we set up the standardization called HALQ. There are 4 phases. I will not give the explanation. This is, as I said, the first generation of halal science and technology. We work for decades for this. And this is our work. Okay. This is the lab analysis. And you'll find a lot of publication from Prof. Yaakob, also from Prof. Shuhaimi, some fromฬาลงกรณ some from Indonesia and other laboratory. We check for lipid, DNA, protein, and this is for DNA. Now we develop many techniques for DNA. We use real-time PCR, and then the newer technique we use PGM. There are several staff of our work on that. We use a PGM instead of using some small part of DNA, something like 10,000 base pair. We use 3 billion base pair for analyze with the same cost and the same period of time. You see, this is the advance of technology. By using that, we call PGM. Now we develop PGM, and then we also develop the multiplex technique to analyze simultaneously 9 species of haram animal. Now we develop the technique already finished. And this is for DNA. This is for lipid. I think also free fatty acid, TCMS, DSC, sensor electronic knows many paper produced from UPM. Yeah, I think this is very important. But without any support, especially from, for example, from the people in religious affairs, like in Indonesia or in Malaysia, we cannot maintain the capability of the laboratory and scientists. We have to support them. Here, this is for lipid. This is for protein. FTIR, ATR, these are all equipments available in the Halal laboratory in Bangkok. If you go there, more than 200 pieces of the Halal scientific equipments available there. This is LC TOF mass spectral. This is the ESI. Also other equipment. The equipment is nothing. The equipment is nothing. The people more important. But the people need support. Need support. How can we support the people who work for us in order to wake up halal science technology for Muslim world? This is for 10 years we already analyzed 134,000 laboratory analysis. This is a huge work for us. You see, more than 100,000 analysis. And we just published this year or even this month the 4 conventional technique we use in the Journal of Food Protection with a high impact factor, and also published with the IFANCA in this handbook. Yeah, Vinay Dahlan, you see, testing non-halal materials. Yeah, it is handbook. Yeah, this is very important. Yeah, then we have to establish the appropriate laboratory for analysis of adulteration in the food product. And this is also developed in halal science technology. Clay, we call this clay liquid soap. And this is implement the HALQ system in the factory. Until now, 770 manufacturers implement our system covering 184,000 employees. And this is also published in the Middle East Journal to compare the superiority. This is to show the superiority of the halal standardization compared to halal certified product without standardization. Now that the first generation is finished, we need to create more in the second generation. In Thailand and in Indonesia, they go to 4.0. Then we have to implement technology into the Islamic religious affairs. The people who work in the Islamic scholar something, you see, here, 4.0. Then this is the design, algorithmic design for the second generation. Then you remember, we have halal big data, and some, if it's halal, then we go to the big data. If not, this is not halal, then we have to find alternative replacement. This is finally can produce the IP, intellectual property. Then this is the way. Finally, we have to find IP, intellectual property. This is to find the replacement of the haram product. Then this is very important. Another one, we have to use laboratory more expensive compared to non-halal certified. This is not the way. If you have to buy halal product by paying more, that's not Islam. In some place, if you like to have a halal chicken, you pay $2 more. This is not the right way. Then we have to cut off all expenses from halal accreditation. Then we need very good information, something like H number. This is for replacing E number. For non-halal, they have an E number. They don't, this is safe. But E number is not automatically halal. Then we have to find our number by our own. Then this is the way. Then finally we produce H number. This is H number, creativity, number 5. And we go to the platform. We need e-commerce for halal. If finally the company have halal certification, what the benefit of halal certification for them? Then we have to give them sword, arm, in order to defend themselves in the competition. Then we have a How Plus. This is a platform. How Plus. If you find any people from the Halal Science Center, you can ask them to see the platform on mobile. Then they have a platform in order to make e-commerce. You see, this is a platform called How Plus. We already developed, but how plus is not reflect to the safety of the product, then we need the security of the safety. Then finally we develop halal blockchain. This is very important. This is the future. This is the future. In order to make trust for the product, also for the consumer, this is we develop Sphere platform and halal blockchain. We have the model, exhibition model. You will see it's the way to develop halal blockchain, and then you can test. We develop already, but not function yet. Then, if finally you have safety enough, then finally you can ensure the safety of the product, and then you compete with the non-halal certified product. And in the future, we don't know, inshallah, we can make halal branding from that way. Halal branding is different. The branding, you cannot force to have brand. It's the trust from the market, from the consumer. Then we hope that all this algorithmic design finally can lead our product to the brand of the halal. Then there are two kinds of brand. The brand of the halal itself and the brand of the product. In a different way. In a different way, this. And we have a H number from our big data. But we have a H number, but you see, H number, very thin. We need the help of many universities in Malaysia, in Indonesia, in order to make it thicker. Very important from Pakistan, from many Muslim countries. You see, we have from CIMIC. We need to tick this H number to have something like a E number. Finally, if we can use all to replace totally E number, then we can compete with non-halal products. That's the way. Then you see halal accreditation. We don't need laboratory. Too expensive. We have H number. We don't need, this is time consuming, the precision. Then we use all technique, something like AI, innovation, blockchain, drone technology, Libra, currency, something. And in order to assist Islamic organization, Islamic ulama, for fatwa, the product and services, to have higher competitive capability with the lower expenses. This is the way that we design. And this is, we make as a model in our exhibition in the hall. You may see, they have a halal blockchain. This is a halal Thailand halal assembly, halal route. And also, inshallah, if it appropriate enough, they will go to the brand of the halal. Video is not work? Okay, I think it's, there's some bell ringing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Vinay, for a very informative keynote lecture, and also for remembering deeply arwah Professor Dato Dr. Yaakob Cik Man. And on behalf of the especially University UPM and Malaysia, I would like to thank Prof Vinay for initiating this, I can consider as the first memorial lecture for the arwah Dato Yaakob Cik Man, and hopefully in the future we're going to have this series of memorial lecture for the late arwah Dato Yaakob Cik Man. And we as the second generation halal scientists, must work together to strengthen the research and innovation in the halal field, so that we can advance the halal industry to the world. And also Dr. Vinay mentioned about the collaboration between the ulama and scientists to really push this halal agenda, not just for Muslim, but also for the whole people in the world. And we take note of Associate Professor Dr. Vinay on his some advices for us to maybe embark in the future, especially on the Internet of Things, big data, and maybe online marketing businesses, you know, really seriously. And hopefully we can work together to really materialize what Dr. Vinay just advised us just now. And with that, I think thank you very much again to Associate Professor Dr. Vinay Dahlan. Give him a big round of applause. And also for all the audience for giving your attention to this keynote lecture. Thank you very much, and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much for a very precious presentation for the keynote speech from Associate Dr. Professor Dr. Vinay Dahlan, the founding director of the Halal Science Center, Chulalongkorn Longkorn University. The question that Dr. Vinay left in this speech is how can we attract and enhance the non-Muslim to implement the halal certification, and he's explained about the objective key results, practical algorithm design, and he enhanced every organization to collaborate for thickening the H number together. And now, may I invite His Excellency Ihsan Obud, the Secretary General of Standard and Metrology Institute for Islamic Countries, and he's also is Secretary General of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, to give a token of appreciation for the session chair, Professor Dr. Shuhaimi Mustafa, the Director of the Halal Products Research Institute, University of Putrajaya, Malaysia. Thank you, Professor Dr. Shuhaimi, for the chairperson today. And may I invite His Excellency Ihsan Obud to give token of appreciation to our keynote speaker, Professor Dr. Associate Professor Dr. Vinay Dahlan, the founder director of Halal Science Center, Chulalongkorn University. And please, three of the speakers on the stage and take a photo session. Thank you very much for a very precious presentation in the topic of the second generation of the future halal science and innovation perspective on the algorithmic touch of halal. Now we have a tea break for 15 minutes, and I have something to housekeeping announcement. In front of the book of abstract, we have a yellow sticker in the front. In the front of the room, we have the poster presentation. This sticker you can vote for the poster presentation that you like, and they will calculate for the popular award for the poster presentation. And please evaluate form by the QR code in front of this room, and you will get some little souvenir from our event. And now we have a break for 15 minutes.